Today's topic is part 6 of our series on the history of Iraq. Previous episodes covered prehistoric times to the rise of the Abbasid. Gradually, the Ottomans extended their rule over all of Iraq, except for a small portion in the north. Thus began 400 years of Ottoman rule in Iraq. If you haven't seen them yet, check them out. Each was governed by an Ottoman-appointed pasha. However, these pashas often had to contend with local tribal leaders and religious authorities who wielded considerable power. For example, the Kurdish and Arab tribal leaders in northern Iraq near Mosul enjoyed a great deal of autonomy and were able to maintain their influence in the region. When World War I began, the Ottomans sided with Germany, which caused resentment among many Iraqis who viewed the war as an imperial conflict. The region was then transformed into the British Mandate of Mesopotamia, which lasted until 1932. The Mandate period is a significant part of Iraqi history and is covered in detail in Part 7 of this series. After the war, the Ottoman Empire collapsed and British forces occupied Iraq in 1917. The Ottomans ruled Iraq from their capital in Istanbul and viewed the region as a critical buffer zone between them and the Safavids. Over time, the Ottomans solidified their control over Basra in the south, Mosul in the north, and the rest of the country. These reforms were intended to centralize and modernize the empire, but they also led to tensions between ethnic and religious groups living in Iraq, such as the Arabs, Kurds, Turkmen, Shia, and Sunni. British influence in Iraq grew due to their economic interests in trade and, later, oil. Eventually, Iraqis identified more with being Ottoman subjects than with any other affiliation. This episode covers the period of Ottoman rule in Iraq from 1534 to 1917. Let's get started. In 1534, the Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent captured Baghdad from the Sufi. To put it simply, Iraq became a contested zone between the Sunni Ottomans and the Shia. The Ottomans divided Iraq into 3 administrative units, or via Basra and Mosul. During the 16th and 17th centuries, the Ottomans implemented Islamic law throughout their empire, including Iraq. They also introduced Turkish architecture and promoted Ottoman culture. While most Iraqis were Muslim, some were Christian or Jewish, and they generally lived under Ottoman rule without significant problems. There were periodic conflicts with the Bedouins in the desert regions, as well as local uprisings against Ottoman rule. Nevertheless, cities like Baghdad and Basra grew and flourished as centers of trade and culture. In the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire began to implement reforms known as the. By the early 20th century, the Ottoman Empire was in decline, and Iraqis began to seek independence from Ottoman rule. In 1920, the Treaty of Lausanne officially ended the Ottoman occupation of Iraq. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and give us your feedback. See you next time.